I also spent a little bit of time with Rise of the Ronin, and yeah,
Is that game good? I can't tell.
so far it's cool, but I need to go a little further to get to the unique parts of it because the first couple hours of that I did in session one are all like stuff that is also in other Team Ninja games right now.
Right.
So there hasn't been any of the most unique stuff you see in the trailers is the fucking Assassin's Creed Michelangelo flight hang gliding and then grapple hooking onto things, and all that weird tech and stuff. And here, I've gotten a little bit of grapple hooking. That's a bit you have it from the jump and stuff, but for the most part, it does seem until you have all the other stuff you unlock, like it's pretty close to Neo Wolong and the other stuff they've been doing. The open world is an element that is fairly different. And something that's cool too is like you create a second main character that is like part of your story. Yeah. So your create a character moment in the beginning, like your origin story is that like there's twin warriors, that twin blades, and you have to create both of them, and
Hmm.
then shit happens, and you whatever you play out parts of the story with your own design, so that's interesting. Almost like I guess how even though I haven't seen them yet, in Baldur's Gate you created a second person as well. Um,
Mm.
but for the beginning of this game, until it gets to the more unique stuff, you don't. It feels similar to the other stuff they've done, and that other stuff they've done was great. So it's
So
fine.
I have a question, and the answer to this question will determine whether or not I ever play Rise of the Ronin or look upon it from a distance with scorn in my heart.
Hmm.
What's the loot vomit situation?
It is not like Neo. You are not. There is loot, but it is not the same where you're walking through 5 to 10 sets of armor in one mission and then choosing which one and switching it up constantly. It
Okay.
is. It is so far in the beginning that I've played session. I've gotten two, maybe options of what to put on, maybe three. Um,
Does
and
it is it the kind of game that on PC you would be looking for a loot filter
I
add-on?
don't I don't know. But I can say that it felt like I got a lot less loot than I did in Neo, but I've only played the beginning and people are currently saying it's exactly like Neo, so anyone who's played it more probably has a better idea than
Oh,
I
it's
do.
the same system, but the amount seems to be way
The
less.
amount is definitely it feels to me way less. I pointed it out by the end of the session that I was like, "Oh, I'm only picking between like I picked up like one of not each kind of weapon, but like I picked up like maybe like four weapons in total by the end of
Oh,
that.
Susie says it's exactly like Neo.
Is it okay? All right, then I'll trust people who've played more of it. Then I do know that in Neo, like I said, you get a whole lot of it, and then managing the loot, managing the armor, and how the abilities interact with each other and stuff is a huge part of it. And yeah, I didn't mind it, but it is you can
I,
spend a whole fucking long time getting
I
your shit
feel
optimized.
I feel like I'll never ever like have a meeting of the minds with people on this because like when I was playing Neo 2, I was told, "Oh man, just use the loot filter and just don't even look at anything above a certain thing." And I just go, "Well, then why is it dropping?" And they're like, "See, because if you want to." And it's like I feel like if you're making your game and the game is anything other than a Diablo game or Path of Exile game or Lost, what's it called, the Last
Exile.
Epoch game,
Okay.
whatever, Diablo shit, and you're having so much loot vomit that you need to include a developer loot filter because there's so much trash to work through, you may have gone too far.
Wait, though, hold on. Actually, there's something I can objectively say is not like Neo that
Yeah.
makes a big difference here.
Hmm.
When I played Neo, I one of the first things that happened was you see the red graves
Yeah.
of other player characters, and they're stronger
Yeah.
than you, and you can summon and fight them, and if you beat them, they drop some good shit, right?
Yeah.
And that was a cool challenge that you can ignore while you're getting used to the game. But I wanted to stop and fight the challenging thing right away,
Right.
so I fought a bunch of those ghosts immediately.
Yeah.
In doing so and succeeding, I then immediately got 20 different things right
Yeah.
off the bat.
So much.
And I got some really good shit right away. And this was all like mission 1 area, like right off the bat. This game doesn't have those little online ghosts to fight to lead to that much loot. So you're automatically not getting as much versus if you're dealing with the online system and the enemies and their drops as well. So that is for sure different. The fact that you have online loot coming in as well as the game's regular amount in Neo made it excessive by comparison.
I don't know, man. It's just like I think back to like for whatever reason in Neo, it was like paralytic. And I see people talking about like Borderlands of Diablo, in which I had absolutely no problem at all.
Yeah. So I think of the Transformers Platinum game and
Yeah, okay.
the crazy amount of needless loot in that, where it was like an element.
Thing didn't need anything.
None. I don't care about a blaster with +2 damage, but you're giving me 18 of them. That was crazy. That was ridiculous. Also, even just discovering that different areas in Dragon's Dogma 2 will give you different styles of upgrades.
Yeah,
like,
it's cool.
Oh, okay, but I'm also now just like, I'm not going to go min-max that. I will do what I can afford in the area I'm at. I don't need to go to this town to get this particular thing. That's more back and forth than I'm willing to do.
I think I've had this conversation like 10 times, and I think the way that I always come down to the end of it is like the loot vomit is the secondary problem, because there's Diablo, there's Borderlands or what have you, right? The actual problem is the stupid amount of variability and granularity on any particular piece of gear, where it has like 6 additional numerical suffixes of singular percentile points of specific moves.
That is exactly like Neo.
Oh, well then just okay, back to Scorn. Back to Scorn.
When I picked up a pair of pants and it said, "Yep, here's the 6 things this does, and one of them is a huge bonus if you get the full set." So that's all there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It is funny because it's like some of those bonuses are ignorable ultimately, but if you want to optimize, you're going to need to think about it, and if you don't want to think about it, then yeah, there's no making that easier. Although did Strangers of Paradise do a bunch of that as well?
Oh, it sure did.
Okay. Was it just the game was better than that convinced you to that didn't turn you away from it because the other things were better?
There was a fat button on the screen that said optimize my gear in Strangers of Paradise. And it would optimize your gear for the job you were currently playing.
I don't know if there's one in this.
And that worked all the way up until you beat the primary story.
Okay. There might be one in this, but I don't
It worked a lot better in Stranger of Paradise than the others, because it was like a specific class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You were like, oh, I'm playing Berserker, or I'm playing whatever.
Apparently this has one. I don't know if that makes a difference for you, but apparently
it does. Makes a big difference, actually.
Okay, so yeah, optimize button. I mean, I get the feeling that the whole point of Team Ninja's iterative process here is to keep all these quality of life things in every game that they make going forward.
I think they should iterate part of the game that they like out of it. Because I don't like it.
Hey, look, man. We've been down this road. The crafting is just a net negative in my life. Like I don't need it, want it, or care for it. At best, it's inoffensive. The longer the ingredient list, the more resentment I have.
I I have had a really, really complex relationship with crafting in video games. If crafting is like a mandatory experience in order to enjoy the parts of the game that I want to play, it's very frustrating. Like, I don't like that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has a crafting system for its weapons.
Hmm.
I didn't like it in 7 either. It's annoying, and I'm annoyed that in order to get Ichiban's best weapon, I have to build it. I don't like it.
It's a step of busy work obfuscation from the reward that usually would come in an older game design after you've
Yeah.
done the thing to earn it. If the result of beating a Mega Man boss was you've gotten the bubble gear, but now you have to go get the bubble ammo, and then you have to get the bubble case shell from somewhere, you know what I mean, and do 5 things and combine them to then get the bubble gun. Fuck, like, why? Like, fuck that. That's not fun to me. That's not interesting. It's creating an extra step that allows for more busy work, which is not the kind of game design that draws me in anyway. You're putting you're breadcrumbing a thing that didn't need to be breadcrumbed, and it's just annoying. God,
Yeah.
delayed gratification in the worst way.
On the flip side, when it's like Final Fantasy 14 crafting, I've actually enjoyed that a good deal because it has its own classes and its own system and it's its own little game. And I'm choosing to engage in FF14 crafting because I want Gil from other players, and also I can do things that help friends of mine if they need gear. Right?
In my stint with Monster Hunter, the entire game design
Raison d'etre.
is about killing a thing to use its guts to craft something. So, like,
I feel like it gets a free pass because it's the whole game.
Exactly, right? And furthermore, like,
It's the whole game.
You're getting a weapon and armor based on the thing you did, and it's like, it's the entirety. It's all of it, right? The payoff is really sick for what you're doing in a way that is like, yeah, the whole point. That's not gonna. I'm not gonna. That gets a free pass. Exactly. It's when you insert it into somewhere else, like I just described, where it just doesn't need to be there. Your point is you want to get this reward, but by breaking it up into these delayed incentive systems, you can make it so that you have to do a bunch of extra side quests in addition to this main one to get the sword you want or whatever the fuck.
Like, let's make a comparison between boy, this is going to be unfair. Rise of the Ronin, which has its suffix crafting system, and Elden Ring, which has the item crafting menu, which I don't know anyone. I have not spoken to anyone either online or in person that was like, yeah, that was really useful. I made a lot of items in Elden Ring so that I could right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Elden Ring or Rise of the Ronin because I want to wander around an area and fucking fight things.
It's not for me, but Minecraft also gets a pass because that's also the point, and discovering.
Oh, that's just Legos.
It's just Legos, but like the unlocking recipes of how to whatever do stuff is also the entire thing. That's all you're doing is new type of rock. What if rock plus other type of wood? But yeah, when it's not the game's design is based around the idea of crafting, but in fact the genre was fine without it, and you just stuck it in there. Like, fuck off with that. Anyway, so that was
so
fun.
Basically, at the end of the day, Wooly, what we've discovered is that crafting is good when we like it and bad when we don't.
Pretty much. But I can I can say that about almost any system that is like, if this is a system I don't like, but the game is designed around this system, then yes, of course that's gonna be fine.
And then it gets complex because, like, I remember Stranger of Paradise. We know people who are massive, insane people for Stranger of Paradise, and how the DLCs would kind of ask you to engage in the crafting more because you'd get stronger and need stronger gear. To which I say, I don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this? To which they respond, that's a huge part of the game. is its loot system.
Right. Right.
And that's like a huge focus of the game, is that it has that complex and in-depth loot system. And my only response that I can say to that is, shut up. I don't care. Get it out of there, which is not really the most like open-minded or reasonable response.
Mm-hmm. I also did like come into Dragon's Dogma not expecting the faffing about in the forest and running back and forth shit to be like that is the game. I was like, oh,
that's like the game. Yeah,
I thought that was the busy work between quests that were going to be big, dramatic, epic, and you know, giant arena boss fights of Splendor and Team whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, big narrative fantasy settings.
No, it's about wandering around lost in the muck
and running into NPCs who are constantly trying to turn your attention towards them.
I hate that God. Like, you played a little bit of Monster Hunter World, and like, you remember the scout flies that would snap your fucking neck off when you discovered something, and like, you go over there, like, stop it. Don't take control of my camera away from me, please.
But this is the compromise for not giving you quest markers. It's
of any kind.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want to give you quest markers, so instead we're going to rip the controller away from you sometimes to make sure you can't miss things. But it's like, you can just use quest markers.
I'd be fine with the other one.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's what I'd be fine with.
So that's all fine. Also, this week we took a look at Double Dragon Gaiden. That was a sponsored stream. That'll be coming out, as well as we played some Skullgirls. Checked out the DLC characters there. Short, but just quick thing to say on the Skullgirls DLC with Marie, Black Dahlia, Annie, and Umbrella. Really fun in that those are the characters that add subsystems to the way they play, and I kind of find, like, similar to how like Strive adds like subsystems to their characters.
I was about to say, they're Guilty Gear characters.
They're kind of Guilty Gear characters. Yeah, they like no one in Skullgirls that I can remember really needed to have another meter as a part of their HUD somewhere. But here these new characters do, and it's at the top just under their portrait, where Black Dahlia has like the ability to reload 6 different types of bullets, you know, and that's a big part of her. And then those bullets interact with you know, the way she fires them, different arcs, those are all different. But then she has a super that is a barrel that can detonate, and she can kick the barrel or hit it or shoot it at you and then light it on fire, and then that's a part of the system. She's got another super that is a TNT dynamite that you time, and you can let it beep for as long as you want and then, you know, detonate it on top of the oil that you've already put down. So she has just, you know, weapons that play and interact with each other in like a big cyclical way, and it's cool to have that kind of setup for a weapon character with her. And then you've got Umbrella, who has kind of like Sin with the hunger meter. Umbrella has like a command grab that like you need to keep the umbrella fed but not overstuffed, because if it's too hungry, if it's too stuffed, it's slower, but it also gets a lot of advantage and can do big crazy shit. But you know, there's like a magic sweet spot that you want to stay not starving, not hungry, and you know, it's like, yeah, playing with subsystems on these DLC characters. Pretty cool stuff. And of course Marie is out there, and she's pretty interesting as well. I like the extra characters they've added with each round here. Fun game to come back to. Killers are still out there. Jumped online, got murdered top to bottom.
Killers are always still out there for anything nowadays.
Yeah, but to be fair, for a game like Skullgirls, when I say I'm going to play it and I'm going to jump online, that's everyone's cue to go over to the Discord to report that I'm streaming it, and then to go get the stream snipers to come in and murder. So, you know, mission accomplished. That went down.
Man, it'd be a shame if a really high-level player came and beat me up at Skullgirls.
So all of that coming out soon. But yeah, this week, more Helldivers, some more Yakuza, and I'm waiting on...
I had an incredibly bizarre moment on my last Infinite Wealth stream in which I ran into characters from the cabaret that you were doing at the same time.
Whoa. Interesting. That's cool. Huh.
And they look exactly the same. These
dropped.
Bitches are in their 50s and they look great.
Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah, and then this Saturday, either I'm waiting on confirmation, but we'll either look at Strive with Test Your Luck, and if not that, then we'll do Eddie Tekken. He's out and he's breaking that game apart. Eddie's really strong, and
And that's Eddie Gordo.
it's an issue. Some other
Is
stuff.
it the same thing? Is it I'm gonna just hit buttons and
You can do kick and go nuts with him. But he also breaks the system in a couple other ways that are not shared by the rest of the cast. He has a lot of shit that tracks that doesn't look like it should. But then they also updated the game itself to change some stuff.
I have a mixed review score on Steam.
Wall breaking has gotten more inconsistent and weird. There's some stuff that's just busted. There's some bugs where in the middle of a heat activation, people are moving in the stopped time. So fucking,
Listen, Woolie,
they gotta get a patch coming.
What you need to do is stop complaining, and what you need to do is buy Ball for $3.
I think as long as they say to everybody that what you're investing in with these ridiculous cosmetic prices is the eventual Waffle House stage. You are buying the Waffle House slowly but surely. This is there's a battle pass that leads to Waffle House at the end.
I heard Tekken was getting a battle pass for cosmetics. I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. And then like the day it came out, I saw people saying, yeah, some of the removed cosmetics from Tekken 7 are in this battle pass. I'm like, oh, okay, that sucks actually. That actually sucks tons of shit.
Shout outs to buying a bunch of points to spend that you could never spend the exact amount you always have to buy more than the cost of the thing. Like literally pachinko like parlor like tactics. The oldest, simplest trick in the book of how much you need versus the pack that you get. Fucking Chuck E. Cheese tickets. You know what I mean? Like we're going back to the simple ass like, nah, you got to spend more than you need.
Nah, I'm just gonna play more Helldivers. Or like I'm probably gonna buy those war bonds because Helldivers has been so straight shootery about it, and I'm having such a good time. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of.
That's one way. I mean, for me, I'm happy with the Steve costume that I have.
Yeah, that's the other problem. They gave it to you too good at the beginning.
I have no incentive to go any further than what I've got. It's pretty fucking sick, so we're just going to ride that out for now.
I bet there's a bunch of... I would like people to write in, actually, for the emails of, like, DLC costumes for games that had like cosmetic shit, and you looked at it and go, fucking, I'm never gonna buy any of that shit. That looks awful.
Golden weapons in Overwatch. The worst.
Oh my
the
God.
Worst. Who wanted? They looked so terrible.
Yeah, can I just say gold weapon in anything?
God, always.
No, wait, stop. I forgot. I knew guys who liked gold weapons. They were the Madden guys I described earlier. It is a normie badge.
Unless you are piloting the Hyakushiki, the golden fucking Char suit. Like, unless that's what you're rocking top to bottom, it's always garish and terrible.